Unbiased, fan-friendly Syracuse sports coverage on WSKO Syracuse. A Cumulus media station, the voice of the Central New York sports fan, The Score, 1260. Welcome to your home for local sports in Syracuse. Outside the Box Score with Mark Rowlands starts right now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Joined once again. It's been a couple of weeks, but he's back.
What? Yeah, that's right.
Josh Boeheim, my usual partner here. Pat starting off the show as he often does by saying, "Looking good, Mark," and then sending "not" in all capital letters right after. Good to talk to you as well, Pat. That's how you know him and I have been friends for as long as we have, because he does that every single week.
Not a compliment in sight.
No,
Nice.
never. I think Pat's given me three compliments.
Legitimate ones, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Known each other for 20 years. And
That's about the right amount for a male friendship.
yeah,
I think.
I think it's perfect. I wouldn't ask for anything more, anything less. He just asked, what would I compliment? Damn you, Pat. He's not wrong. But big show today. Got a lot to talk about.
We do? No.
Yeah, because Syracuse basketball has played not one, but two games. Actually 3 since the last time we had this show. Because last Saturday was the double overtime thriller against Youngstown State, which is, I still don't understand how that happened.
It's a gritty game.
Very gritty game. And then a couple of gritty games against Texas and Texas Tech the past couple of nights. So 3 SU basketball games to break down. We'll talk about the future of that program as well. Of course, I talked to Neil Adler last week from Inside the Loud House. That interview is still up on Twitch if you want to go back and check that out if you haven't seen it. Great interview. Neil's always super fun to talk to. Very insightful. And we talked about, the commitment of Kai and Anthony and all that stuff. So if you want to check that out, make sure you do that. Speaking of which, we haven't had the chance really to talk about that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Melo's kid making the most obvious decision of all time.
Right. It was one of those things where, like, it's so obvious you kind of just kept downplaying it in your head. At least I did, where I was like, well, he doesn't have to go, he could follow anything. But then you'd start thinking, and we've talked about it, I think, off air, where we're like, he doesn't need the money. It's not like somebody's going to outbid Syracuse.
Yeah.
It's not NIL thing. So, I mean, it just made the most sense, I think, for him, his family, everyone. I mean, there's a hall named after his father at the thing for the athletic center is named after Carmelo Anthony for basketball. I mean, it just makes sense. And I think it's going to be a great time to see him. Obviously, some big shoes to fill. I hope he doesn't get too much credit. The expectations should not be that high for the kid. Just let him just play ball, his ball.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a better defender than his pops. Who knows? Maybe there's some exciting things in his game that Syracuse fans aren't expecting.
It's funny because when I was talking to Neil about him, and I wanted to know what is the who is Kai and Anthony the player? Like, we all know about his father and where he goes to high school and stuff, but I wanted the scouting report on what we're gonna get with Kai and Anthony. And I didn't say this to Neil, but everything he described just sounded like his dad.
Great ISO scorer.
Yeah, he's
elite in speed.
He's a really good shooter. He can make his own shot. He's got to work on his defense, but it's getting there. I'm like, this is just a scouting report on Carmelo Anthony, and hey, I'll take it. When last time we had that guy worked out pretty well, but it was really funny just thinking to myself, like, just sounds like his dad in a shooting guard instead of a small forward.
Yeah.
He's 6'5" instead of 6'7". It's okay. I'll take it. Yeah. But I am very excited for him to come. And like I said, so 3 SU games to talk about. Then we've got the Syracuse football game against Cal last week. That was a nice win by the SU team. At Syracuse taking on the vaunted UConn today at noon. And I don't think any of us expected UConn to be 7-3 coming into this game.
No.
The same record as Syracuse. Jim just said, "Is this a taped show or is Josh actually here?"
God damn it, Jim! I had another death. There was another death last week.
You had brunch,
and the brunch died at the first. We moved on. The restaurant died. There was a death somewhere, I guess. I don't know. Maybe someone. I don't know.
Your initial plans died when you heard there was a 2-hour wait at the place you initially went to.
Yes.
You had to go mourn the
Yes.
death of heading to an unnamed brunch place in downtown Syracuse.
Scam.
That does
2
so
hours.
much business.
2 hours for brunch.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I told you that place is a zoo. I've been in there I've been in the building twice.
Okay.
Once was, like I said, we did exactly what you did. My girlfriend and I walk in. They say it'll be an hour and a half, 2-hour wait, and we just walk down the street to Modern Mall.
I mean, that ruins the time of the brunch. You brunch from like 10 to 12.
Yeah.
If I wait 2 hours,
If I wait until 1:30, it's just lunch.
Yeah. Screw yourself. Is there like I was trying to understand, is there like a 2-hour like endless mimosa thing? They anticipate people to stay. I don't get it.
I don't know, because I've never eaten there.
Do I have to reserve a spot?
Oh, yeah.
They take reservations for breakfast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you pretty much have to call ahead there.
Okay.
And the other time I went in there was with some friends. In the basement of that is like a speakeasy.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's very expensive, but the decor, everything about it is really cool. You sort of feel like you're walking into a speakeasy. It's in the basement of this diner.
Okay.
Like it's a pretty cool spot. So I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's escaping me right now. But yeah, pretty cool spot. So those are the only 2 times I've ever been in there. So I have never consumed anything from the place upstairs.
Now, do you actually remember the name, but you're trying to keep the allure of the speakeasy?
No,
I can't
actually
know the name.
No, I actually don't remember.
You don't have to tell me the password, Mark. You just don't need to. Just tell me the name.
I don't remember the name. I'll think of it. But yeah, I went there once, like a couple of years ago. Pretty cool spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that place it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's an absolute nightmare.
With a straight face, told me 2 hours for breakfast, and I nearly spit on this woman. I was so insulted. I mean, she laughed at me when I put in my name. I laugh. A chuckle came out of her mouth. Rat.
Yeah, that'll be Josh for 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah.
2 hours.
You even want me to get the phone number? Do we have to go through this whole thing? I'm like,
hope you're ready for dinner, pal. Stone says bottomless mimosas will get him anywhere. Nothing like walking out of breakfast hammered.
Facts.
Not wrong.
I'm not a Bloody Mary guy.
I'm not either. Yeah, Bloody Mary. I've never understood the allure.
It gives me the chill just thinking about it. Nothing about it.
Here's some tomato juice and vodka. Like, no thanks.
The people who like it, they like the spice. The big Bloody Mary, too, I never get. You see the ones where it comes, they get like the pint glass of Bloody Mary, and then there's like a lunch on top of it.
Yeah.
It'd be like grilled cheeses and shrimp and the celery's classic, whatever.
Yeah, celery
but like
goes in a Bloody Mary.
Shrimp, olive, and you're like, what is this? I get one thing for is a $30 cocktail and meal? It's ridiculous.
It's strange.
I don't get it.
Just, give me a mimosa or a screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
You know the difference?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you mean? Yeah, vodka and
a lot of people don't. This was a discussion I had. I was doing a boozy brunch broadcast with the Syracuse Mets, Evan Stockton and I.
Okay.
And they give you mimosas. Like they do mimosas at the ballpark, and the staff there was kind enough to bring a couple up for Evan and I to enjoy during the game and make like a segment out of it.
I remember this. There was the pancake debate on this one, correct?
Yes, yes. We talked about the pancakes for the table and like all this stuff.
I remember.
Yeah, and it was a great time. We had a blast. But we took listener questions like we do on this show, and someone said, "Is that a mimosa or a screwdriver?" And Evan was like, I don't know the difference. And so I explained, yes, a mimosa is made orange juice and champagne. A screwdriver is orange juice and vodka.
Yeah.
He goes, well, Mark, would you be able to taste the difference?
1,000%.
And I said, absolutely. Of course I can.
How could you not?
And so he goes, well, crack it open. Let's see what you got here. And so I take a sip. And I was like, this is a screwdriver, but that is vodka. and I listen. I'm a professional broadcaster.
Sure.
I know how the business works a little bit. He kept calling them mimosas because they advertise them as mimosas. They say they're mimosas. They're screwdrivers.
They're a scam down at MBT.
No, and I'm not saying it's a scam. I enjoy a screwdriver. I was not disappointed, but it was just funny because I was like, that's a screwdriver. As soon as I took a sip, I was like, yep, vodka.
Vodka, cheap vodka's probably just cheaper option.
Yeah, I mean, it is cheap, but it didn't taste like cheap vodka.
Oh,
It tasted like decent vodka.
that's nice.
So I was happy. But yeah, that was that was a fun lesson I had to give Evan in the middle of a broadcast, the difference between a mimosa and a screwdriver.
I guess I've always known that too. I mean, we have a friend of ours who will order a screwdriver as a cocktail at night. Like when we go out sometimes, he'll get a
Really?
screwdriver. Yeah, the plum, the sham.
That
stone.
doesn't surprise me.
He's a screwdriver guy.
If there's anyone that would just walk up to a bar and order a screwdriver at 8:30 at night, it's absolutely him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of bonkers, but I mean, if it works for you, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy. I don't drink vodka often.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thing. I tend not to drink a lot of vodka.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a screwdriver is a wonderful brunch.
We're not talking sports here at all right now, and I will just one more thing.
Yeah,
on the
we
drinking
will.
front.
We will at some point.
Yeah, get cocktail ready right now.
Yeah.
Nothing more is on my mind at 11 a.m. than cocktails.
Yeah.
And went to a happy hour for work the other night, and it was this ritzy cocktail place, which is not my MO either, as you know. If anything, it's a vodka soda, something chill, or beer. Beer is normally. But you go to a place and it's free. I'm gonna get a fancy little cocktail with some piece of freeze-dried fruit that I've never even seen.
Yeah.
And I'll drink it. And so as the people come up, they do what do you normally drink? Do you drink that? Do you like that? And I was like, I'll drink anything. I like it all. And they're like, oh. And then I'm like, well, I don't have it's not like a problem.
Yeah.
I just had to clarify. And they're like, no, I didn't think that. Like, you're like, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that everyone here knows I don't have a problem. I just like all alcohol at all times in any of it.
Yeah.
In any quantity. Not too much.
Not too much.
But anytime. Just the weird over talk.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. You got to talk your way out of this. It's like, boy.
I didn't think it was a problem. You go, no, I'm not saying it was a problem. I said it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
But I thought you might think that.
Yes.
Yeah. Attaboy. Nice way to make your bartender feel awkward.
Yeah. So, not the coworkers.
Oh, the coworkers.
So that was good networking for me that night. Getting to learn my
Yeah,
everyone in the office.
That's even better.
You're like, can we really bring spirits in for the holiday party with Josh here? I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody watch him. He's got to drive a long way home. I don't think this is right.
You'll get a ride.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll find something.
Yeah, you'll get a ride.
Where are my keys at?
Stop it. Stop. We do not endorse that.
No, never.
We do not. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be right back. And we'll actually talk sports when we come back here on Outside the Box Score. For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
Falling prices.
Marky, too, last week, the brunch turned into a little pub crawl in the afternoon.
Yep.
And the people I was going with from Rochester, they know Myers Creek. They know all about it. I was like, because we were talking about places to go before we ended up going to, like, downtown area. We were like, well, Myers Creek Brewing's pretty popular. They wanted some breweries. I'm like, Myers Creek is the top. She goes, oh, I've heard of that. She's like, the big one. And I go, you're talking about the Palace.
The Palace in
Cazenovia. And she's like, is that what they call it? I'm like, yes, it's a palace. It's massive. And so there was a bunch of talk about that. And I'm like, funny you should say. I mean, they're the number one sponsor for Outside the Box Score with Mark Rowlands and myself. And she was like, oh, that's so funny. We were talking about it. I'm like, the people know. People know Myers Creek.
People know Myers Creek.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. It's great. I was
had a Myers Creek at the Haber, too. It's on tap as like a seasonal thing. What is the Myers Creek? She goes, I don't know. I go, I'll take it. It's probably fun. Whatever one it is, it's going to be
I'm
good.
telling you, that place, the bartenders at that place are not good.
No, she sucked. I didn't say the establishment, so I feel fine saying
Yeah.
she was very bad.
Yeah.
She made her fancy cocktails fine, but yeah, just not knowing a lick about things.
I was in there one afternoon, and the mayor of Syracuse is in there, Ben Walsh.
Wow.
He's with some coworkers at the cities, or coworkers from the city, and doing like a lunch drink, whatever. And I watched him walk up and try to close his tab. And the first thing the bartender says is, "What's the name?" Which I think is very funny because it's the mayor. And he says Walsh, and she goes, "Okay." And then she makes like 3 other people drinks. She serves me another one. It's been like 10, 15 minutes. Mayor Walsh is still standing there. And she walks over. She goes, "Did I close your tab?" He goes, "No." And she goes, "Oh, what was the name again?"
Doubles down on it.
He goes, "Ben Walsh." And she looks and she's like, "Oh." It just occurred to her, like, who this is getting terrible service.
At some point, you got to pull that one out.
Yeah. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, on the score 1260. It's a very normal appetizer, Josh.
Is it? A group of people, 30 people in there, and they get a little tiny cast iron of Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. How am I supposed to dig? I took a fork. I took in like 4 at a time, then I'm out. I can't go back in. It's a shared app. It's insanity. That's a silly appetizer.
It's a very silly appetizer.
For that many people.
That's hilarious.
It was mind-blowing.
All right, SU basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with a game that I still can't believe happened. The Youngstown State Penguins came into the JMA Wireless Dome and took Syracuse into double overtime. JJ Starling, 38 points in 49 minutes. With great game from JJ. He also had 7 rebounds, 3 assists. We saw a really nice game from Eddie Lampkin Jr. 20 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. Eddie's been upping that passing game a little bit recently, and he is such a gifted passer. He's so fun to watch. And a double-double by Donnie Freeman, 19 points, 12 rebounds, also had 3 assists of his own with a block. It's Youngstown State. What the hell are we doing?
That was a tough one. I remember I got to the bar at one point. I'm like, hey, is this game still on? I was kind of doing like a double take of like, this should be over by now. And I was like, double overtime. So I can't say I watched much other than the highlights, but it was an odd thing to see that team tested Syracuse that much, but not really based on their first 2 games.
Yeah.
I think we've seen this week past that Youngstown State game that the team is starting to get a lot more comfortable with themselves.
Yes.
They look a lot cleaner. But yeah, the first couple games, it's 3 games into the season. That's what you got to remind yourself as a Syracuse fan. Just go, we'll get it. We'll get an understanding. These kids are coming into their own. Starling had a great game last night too.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, I mean, I can't talk much about the Youngstown State game other than just like you said, like, come on, Youngstown.
It's
the Penguins.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah.
The absolute breakdown on defense from Syracuse in that game was very disheartening.
They didn't do that a lot against Colgate, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, as 2 guys who were sitting there on the over in the Colgate game, sitting in the JMA Wireless Dome, it would have been nice. We would have taken double overtime in that one. But no. And Jim said Josh only had 1 less rebound than Chris Bell did last night.
Dude hates Chris Bell rebounds.
He does.
If he could find a prop on Chris Bell rebounds, what would it be every game? Half a rebound?
They'd probably put it at 1.5.
Okay.
At least to start.
Yeah.
He's had like 4 or 5 a couple of times this year.
Okay.
Let's see. How many did he have? I've got it up right here. In the Texas game. I know he had 2 against Texas. How about that?
That's big.
And then 1 last night. What did he do in the Youngstown State game? 4.
Okay. Well, that's 2 overtime. That's an extra 10 minutes of ball.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he did it in 36 minutes.
Okay, I'll
So
take that.
he played 36 minutes, got 4 rebounds. Texas game.
Yep.
And Jim put odds on a certain phrase that we might use during this. And
Passion.
no.
Grit.
No, moral victory.
Mm.
And he put the odds on us saying it at plus 120. I wouldn't call it that.
Okay.
But I was a lot happier with it's so funny how this happens in sports sometimes.
Mm.
We watched SU start 3-0.
Yeah.
And we were furious.
Yes.
And then they lose 2 games, and I'm like, they look better.
It's starting to come together.
They look better in their losses than they do in their wins. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Quad 1 opportunity. Texas is going to be really good this year. They'll spend some time in the top 25 probably.
Mm-hmm.
They've got one of the best freshmen in the country in Trey Johnson. He was held to 4 of 18 from the field. I'll give Jaquan Carlos some credit there. And in terms of how he defended Trey Johnson, I'm not going to be giving Jaquan Carlos a lot of credit this year, I don't think. It's not my favorite.
Okay.
I do really like the fact that Syracuse has a true pass-first point guard right now. I just don't think he's the right one.
Okay.
If hopefully his shot can get better.
Yeah.
But right now, every time he puts up a shot, I'm like, oh boy.
Where's Lampkin?
Yeah, like someone get aboard.
Yeah.
Like crash down low immediately.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that gets better. He can rebound a little bit, which is good because he's not a big guy. He's listed at 6 foot. I think that's generous. He looks more like 5'10", 5'11".
Think a little Gerard's going on there.
Yeah, I do. And I haven't seen Jaquan, like, I haven't stood next to him like I stood next to Joe Girard and we were the same height. I
love that little nitpick story there with Joe Girard. You go, he's not 6'2". He's
listed at 6'1". I'm like, we're the same height. If he's 6'1", I'm 6'1". I'm very much not. I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
And so no shade to Joe there, but the listing's wrong.
Basketball shoes add 2 inches. It's true.
He's the only guy that played basketball shoes and pumps. So I don't want to harp on Jaquan Carlos too much because he is brand new.
Yeah.
But this isn't Hofstra.
Okay.
You know, it's one of those things. Hofstra, they've done a fine job at that program in recent years, but the lights are a little brighter. The stage is a little bigger, and we're starting to see maybe why he was at a place like Hofstra in the first place.
I see what you're saying. It's still early, like you said. If he can defend as well as he can, there's definitely a reason he's on the team, right?
Yes.
There's great perks to his game.
But that only comes out seemingly in spurts. Like, I watched last night, he got burned quite a few times. And so I'd like to see, we're going to stick with him, obviously.
Sure.
And hopefully he can develop his game a little bit more as we approach, get closer to the first quarter mark of this season. And, the team starts to gel a little bit more. But in that Texas game, I liked what I saw out of Eddie Lampkin again. 14 points. No one really scored in that game. Texas has such a great defense. So the fact that, Syracuse was able to hold them to 70, I think is nice. Texas is big. They're really strong. I thought that was going to be a really tough matchup for Syracuse, and they really held their own.
SU had a lot of chances to get some more points late in that game.
Yeah.
The free throw debacle. I mean, what do you want to call it at the end of that game? And again, we were saying they look great. It's great. That's one of those games where big spread coming in. I know we're both looking at that in both of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of expectations to come in and think you're going to win the game.
No.
So then, first half is about as expected. You're down. You're like, okay, this is just what's going to happen. Then they make it close. They come back. You're starting to feel it again.
In the second half.
Yep. And then the free throws at the end of the game just cost you.
It's something that, and we've talked about this before with the SU football team in tackling.
Yeah.
That for years, they've been bad at tackling in the open field. It's a organizational thing that has spanned multiple coaches, multiple eras, and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Why the hell does SU never get a good free throw shooter? We've had one in the memory, and that was Joe Girard.
Uh-huh. I don't
9 of 18? They call them free throws.
Yeah.
They're free points. They're giving you points.
I mean, this is one of those things at the end of the day, now your team, you're like, they're just kids, man. That's tough,
I mean,
just kids trying to shoot a ball. But it's disheartening to see that number.
50%.
Yeah.
They shot 50%. If they shoot 70%, they win the game.
Yep.
It blows my mind.
Coach knows that, though. I mean, that's something Red knows, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Going after that game is like,
last
what
night,
are we doing?
they were 24 of 28.
Yep.
Last night, they had a really good free throw shooting performance
Mhm.
because 11 of them were taken by Chris Bell. He went 11 for 11 from the free throw line.
There it is, Chris.
Good for half of his 22 points. And Jim put the odds at minus 110 that you could shoot 50% from the free throw line on 18 attempts.
Wow. I love that odds. I'll do that.
Let's find a hoop. We got to find a hoop and a ball.
I get 10 shots before I start. Is that acceptable?
Yes, we'll give you warm-up shots.
Okay. And then we'll start it.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
I like my chances. Can I take the odds on this too? I say yes too.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Jim? Though you gave the odds, do you think I make them or no? You think I go 50 or no?
Yeah, Jim, what are your thoughts? I know. I'll tell you right now, I couldn't. I'm a terrible free throw shooter.
Well, a lot of people don't talk about it, Fatty, but I used to be a pretty athletic kid. Played ball myself. I couldn't play school ball, though, is because that coincided with the musical theater department.
Yes, of course.
And I wasn't the Troy Bolton back then. That wasn't as acceptable. Also because I would have been sitting the bench in basketball probably. But, yeah, I was a baller. I got some good athletic. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun.
It does sound fun.
Put the odds out. We'll put it up on the YouTube.
Yeah, he's got it even money. He said no is also minus 110. So even money going both ways. I'll take yes on that.
18 attempts. Okay. All you got to do is make 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 18.
10
I
out of
can do
18.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start 0-5. You still got time, though.
Yeah,
I'd still feel good.
Yeah, you got to go 10 for 13.
Till I miss 9, I feel great.
Oh, yeah. I think you got that.
Okay.
I really do. Now, I don't know if you got 24 of 28 like last night. But
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But last night, again, I feel better about SU in their losses than I do in their wins.
Mm-hmm.
Some good things take away. Like I said, free throw shooting, much better. The rebounding this year has been quite good for Syracuse, something they've struggled with in the past. They out-rebounded Texas Tech last night. They didn't out-rebound Texas, but it was 35-30, so they didn't get destroyed on the glass by any means.
Sure.
But there is something to be said about the fact that SU had, I want to say it was 12 turnovers last night to Texas Tech's 3. Syracuse is one of the worst teams in the country at forcing turnovers. When was the last time that was said? Syracuse, for all their defensive woes in the past couple of years at times, have always forced turnovers. And they're one of the worst teams in the country at forcing turnovers. They're also one of the 20 worst teams in the country in three-point percentage. They shot another 28.6% last night. They went 6 of 21. Starling was 2 of 5. Bell was 3 of 8.
On the turnover front, Mark, I'll ask you this. Do you think that's more of a scheme setup this year, which is silly to ask scheme in basketball a little bit defensively because it's just man, right, for most parts?
Yeah, they're just playing man
Is it scheme or is it effort? Is it just an effort thing?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think this is a new SU defense.
Yeah.
They just play man. Even last year, they played some zone.
Right.
And for the first time, we're watching an SU team, and it's like, are they going to go into the zone?
When do they go to the zone?
They should go into the zone here. But where's the zone? And the zone never comes. And the zone is what forced a lot of turnovers.
Totally.
You're blocking up passing lanes, and,
And kids don't play against it.
Yeah. So that is certainly part of it. The fact that it's just man defense now. And Jim says, aren't players used to playing man-to-man? Well, yes, but the fact that it's just man defense now leads to less turnovers. Sure. I also just think this team isn't very good defensively.
That's fair. Which is
I really like Eddie Lampkin. He didn't have a great game last night. He only took 6 shots. They were all over him.
Yeah.
And Jim said, so all the teams ahead of SU in turnovers per game are playing zone? Yes.
No. Damn it, Jim.
No, of course not. But he said hashtag some sarcasm. Of course not, but it is just like it's a different look for Syracuse. And you can say like, oh, these kids have been playing man-to-man their entire lives. It's like, yeah, but
doesn't mean they're doing it well.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're all elite defenders. I mean, but also Chris Bell and JJ Starling did play quite a bit of zone last year, and they're the only ones. But that's an adjustment for them to go from playing, especially Bell, 100% zone, some zone, no zone.
Yeah,
like there's an adjustment there, and Stone said man defense doesn't hide mistakes the same way a zone does. Absolutely.
Yep.
You can hide behind a zone. You can't hide behind getting burned by your defender and getting your ankles broken.
Are we talking ourselves into bringing back the zone right now? I'm kind of feeling hot. Let's get the zone back in
a little
here.
bit. It just mess with it every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I never wanted them to ditch it completely.
Right.
There are points in a game where zone defense can be very helpful. And Jim said, to be fair, Bell wasn't good in the zone. Yeah, he's not good in man either. So I really like Chris Bell as a player. I love watching him. I think he's really athletic. I love when he gets hot from behind the arc. He's just not a very good defender. That's fine.
Yep.
Neither was Carmelo Anthony, like we were talking about earlier. He didn't really fit in the zone that well either. So
it happens.
It happens. But I just want to see it a little bit. Just a little bit. Because we got some length. You got Lampkin, who's 6'11", down low. Donnie Freeman, 6'10". Like, there's some length there. Bell's long. The problem is, once you get to Carlos and Starling, is the reason our zone was so good for so long was long guards. Michael Carter-Williams, Tyler Ennis, guys like that. Really, Trevor Cooney had such long arms. Like, there was some legitimate length down there. And so that was a big part of the zone, is you got to have those long, tall guards. And we don't really have that right now. So that deters me a little bit, but just every once in a while.
Sure.
Just break it out. Just for old time's sake.
I wouldn't be opposed.
I wouldn't be opposed either, by any means.
I'd like it.
Because as of right now, this defense is not good. Plain and simple.
No.
So maybe, take it from 2 very experienced college basketball coaches here, and me and Josh.
Hey, Red, you need anything? I say it all the time with Fran as we're faculty together. But Red, if you ever need something, hit my line.
Yeah.
You know my email. You find me in the directory. We could chat.
Yeah, coworkers. You're just trying to be a good coworker.
That's right. Right. Just trying to lend a hand.
Yeah.
People helping people.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back in just a minute here on Outside the Box Score. If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 brews on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must-try. More of a traditional Pilsner, how about the Floatin' on By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with the official beer of Outside the Box Score, Myers Creek.
I want to learn.
Breaking news in the tennis world.
Let's hear it.
As Novak Djokovic has appointed a new coach for himself this offseason and in Australia.
Okay.
Andy Murray.
Really?
Yep. Murray retires this year and finds himself getting a coaching job with the GOAT.
That's wow.
A real thing, too. Andy's like, I'm finally happy to be on the same side of the net as Novak.
This guy that's kicked my ass for the better part of 2 decades.
What an odd, it's not that crazy to think of, I guess, but it is.
It's an interesting pairing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense, though. They're both more defensive-minded, I think, in a sense. And I'm interested on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's how long do you think Djokovic has left?
To play or win major? I mean, I
Yeah,
think
like as the guy at or near the top.
he could win a major this year and maybe next year. Maybe he's got 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think his time is pretty much a year. It depends on his health, and he's obviously super fit. I mean, all those guys at the top are, but he's a guy too that now I think winning the Olympics, and he said it himself where he's like, I'm just gonna do the hits this year. If I skip the gold tour or like the Spanish clay court season for most of it and just play the French, like that's just something where he's gonna try not to tax his body too much, and I think it's just a smart idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do too. Obviously,
the bad part of that is you're playing less tennis, but these guys play tennis all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's been playing tennis at a high level for 20 years.
Mhm.
So it's not like he doesn't play tennis.
Yeah.
So I think it should work for him, and he just plays the big tournaments and a couple sprinkled in. I'm excited for it. Anyone who's winning, I mean, it's almost fun to root for him now as like not the favorite.
Yeah.
He's an underdog in tournaments now, which is crazy.
Which is nuts. And it's just, it's so interesting. We just saw, obviously Nadal just played his last tournament, right?
Yes, the Davis Cup.
Yeah. So Nadal's gone, Federer's gone. He's the lone survivor of the big three.
Yeah.
And I just if he wins a major 3 years from now, I think everyone should be shocked.
Yeah.
Like it's just coming to that time, and it's interesting because tennis is going to be in kind of a worse spot than it was without those three.
I think so. I mean, they do have some young stars, but American
Carlos,
tennis should really. Fritz finished top 4, I think, this year.
Did he really?
Top 5. Yeah, I mean, he had a great year, finished well.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Josh Boheim joining me in studio as well.
Hey.
Just had a nice lengthy discussion on SU basketball. Now we're going to switch to the football side of things.
Woo!
SU in 23 minutes will be kicking off at the JMA Wireless Dome. Game against the University of Connecticut, former longtime basketball rival in the Big East, turned independent now, I think, Connecticut.
In basketball?
In football.
Oh. I
think
they have
in football, I think they're just independent now. Obviously, they're still in the Big East for basketball.
Yeah, they're man without a country.
What's that?
They're man without a country.
Yeah, it's them and Notre Dame.
Yep.
So yeah, turned now independent football rival. Listen, when UConn was put on the schedule, and we're like, all right, November 23rd, SU has a guaranteed win.
Yep.
Week before Miami, they just, it's a great tune-up game. Go out and drop 50. Oh, and UMass. UMass also independent in football.
Huh. Amherst or Lowell? Amherst got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be Amherst.
I don't think Lowell has a football team.
I doubt it. And so we're like, all right, that's a great tune-up game before Miami. Really get the offense going, drop 50 on them, and call it a day. UConn is 7-3, and 2 of their losses have come against ACC opponents by 1 score.
They're pretty competitive.
This game is not what we thought it was going to be at the start of the year.
The thing is, UConn for years has been the worst program in all of college football.
Yes.
We've said that for years. The only bright spot being Byron Jones for a small time. That cornerback who was actually a Pro Bowl. I couldn't tell you another guy who's ever played for UConn football.
Yeah, and Jim says UConn 7 wins, not much to brag about. Those are 7 wins that 3 years ago, they lose all of those games by 30.
Yeah.
So this program is definitely, on the up and up compared to where it was a few years ago.
They got to be getting a little basketball bump there, right? It's like
for sure.
Because the basketball program's so good, they're so relevant.
Yeah.
That now guys are like, maybe I could play football there.
Yeah, I could go to UConn and play. It's a school of champions. Like,
right.
So I think that probably does have something to do with it. But do I think SU wins this game today? Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Do I like them on the number at 10.5? Yes.
Oh, okay. A little pride today. Oh, goddamn heart.
I got the block S on my chest today, Josh. We're going. I like SU today to win. I like them to win by double digits.
Okay.
But it's just not the game we thought it was going to be. Let's be real here. Week 1, we beat Georgia Tech.
Yep.
They're ranked at the time. We're all, we're feeling good about Syracuse. We're all super high on this team.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at that UConn game saying, what's that spread? 32.5? That's going to be a Bama versus UTEP spread.
I hear you.
And I don't know if SU really deserves to be favored by double digits against anybody right now.
I don't think anybody knows what to do with this SU team from a better standpoint.
Yeah.
After last week, 10-point dogs in Cal.
Yeah, and they
win outright.
In fairly convincingly.
Yes.
33-25, and it wasn't that close for most of the game. Cal scored 11 in the fourth quarter, but it was 27-7 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Cal looked dead. I mean, that was a very convincing win. They took their foot off the gas pedal in the second half, understandably so. Like I said, they were up by 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Vegas knows what SU is.
So they're like, so now they're good again. 10 points against you guys? I don't know. I mean, it's a little crazy. I'd stay away from that as well. Like, I like it, but I'd probably just stay off. I am staying off.
Oh, yeah, I'm not betting it, but I do like the number.
I mean, these boys, they want to shower, okay?
Yeah.
They got to this week.
Winners get washed, man.
That's right. That's what it is.
A couple weeks ago, I was at Myers Creek on a Wednesday, and the SU offensive line was in there.
Yep.
And because of that...
Reeked. Okay. Stunk up the joint.
Stunk up the joint. No, because of that, they had a special category that was SU football.
Uh-huh.
And because they knew that the offensive line was going to be there, so they had an SU football category of trivia. And one of the questions was, which one of these does Coach Fran Brown deprive himself of if SU doesn't win? And you just hear that entire section of the bar burst out laughing. These guys are going nuts. And they didn't shout out the answer or anything, but they before Jenna, who's our regular trivia host, Jenna starts giving the answers, and she goes, and football team, what's the answer to this one? And one of the guys goes, that man don't shower. It was so fun. The place just erupts. And
that man don't shower.
But they were going nuts. They're like, I can't believe he said that publicly. It was so funny. But yeah, that man don't shower. But just cracked me up.
That's that little bit of psycho we've been yearning for.
Exactly. That's the thing. Every good college football coach is a little bit of a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
And we've mentioned it with Fran before. That's perfect.
I hope he wins that bowl game. It'll be a long off season.
He has to move into a different house. His wife won't have him anymore.
Yeah.
Just like, no, you can't come in.
Want to hug our child? What's wrong with you?
Stone called it the Joe Mazzulla effect. That's a very Joe Mazzulla thing to say. I think Stone sent that to me on Twitter, and he was like, this guy's just Joe Mazzulla of college football. And I was like, yeah, kind of. And I love it. Yeah, it's a very Joe Mazzulla thing to say. So, yeah, he's got the T-shirts now. I thought about buying one. Did you see those?
No, to go into with the NIL fund?
Yeah, he's got winners get washed shirts.
That's awesome.
They're so funny, dude. On the back, it's like a bar of soap with winners get washed carved into it. So, yeah, he's got the shirts now and everything. It was one of the more interesting interview answers I've ever heard. He just sort of offered it up.
Yeah, no, they didn't pry for that.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I don't shower after a loss. You know, the winners get washed. Okay. Thanks, Coach.
I like to live my life by that.
Yeah, so I think Coach takes a nice long shower after today's game and really enjoys it because I think with the way LaQuinn Allen's been playing in recent weeks, he's looked like the guy that we thought we were going to have all year. And He had a couple of rough games earlier in the season, but the past few weeks we've been running the ball more, and it's been working. He had 109 yards and 2 touchdowns against Cal. Kyle McCord had a bit of a rough stretch there. Couple of games, throwing too many picks. 5 against Pitt, certainly not great.
No.
He had over 300 yards again last week with a touchdown, no picks, being a little more conservative with the throws he's trying to make. I just saw that 3 of the top 3 leaders in contested catches this year in college football are Aronde Gadsden, Trevor Pena, and who's the third? Jackson Meeks.
They're all Syracuse guys.
Yeah.
He just loves throwing that ball in the tight windows.
He does. And people were talking about, like, does this show us how accurate Kyle McCord is, or how poor of a decision maker he is that he shouldn't be throwing to these guys? Like, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't have thrown it there, but hey, they got it. It works. Yeah, Rondé Gadsden, he leads the country with 16 contested catches this year, according to PFF. So that was a fun stat that the top 3 are all Syracuse guys.
We were talking about that one, that Boston College catch was insane.
That's
touchdown.
one of the best catches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he did that.
Yeah.
He's like turning around, his arms like this, like upside down, brings it in while turning.
Incredible.
That guy's got hands. Pat says PFF is trash. I tend to agree. I'm not a PFF guy.
Okay.
I think a lot of their grades make no sense.
Yeah, I'd agree. Is that the one that PFF is the standard? I'm using quotation
Yeah.
marks that they do like on NFL, like at night or whatever. They'll do
Yeah,
like
Sunday Night Football.
Third of
Yeah,
whatever. That's PFF.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're better for the NFL. I think their college stuff is way off a lot of the time.
It's hard to grade 10,000 kids playing football.
Well, that's the thing is,
yeah.
I don't think they should. Like,
Right.
You don't need to do the college stuff. Like, you're pro football focus.
Yeah.
That's what you're called.
They're getting paid now. Is it professional?
What's that?
They're getting paid now in college. Is it professional football?
Well,
I mean, what are we
yeah,
talking
I mean, really, yeah, kind of.
Not to be that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the amateurism is certainly kind of gone from college sports.
Maybe
so.
the stray kicker is not getting paid. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. But it is essentially professional sports now. I mean, Kyle McCord's making a nice little bag. So.
You know, I bet you even the kicker gets like a local pizza contract or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's doing smoothies on the weekends.
I think they're. I think SU should always have stuff with like their kickers. SU's been like kicker and punter U the past 10 years. We just produce nothing but kickers and punters.
Give him something nice.
Yeah. So people like their punters here at SU, even though our guy this year is not very good. He's just not. Stonehouse has been he's struggled this year. Pat just said, and Jim, we will take a break in just a second, but
damn it,
Pat just said, did you see UMass fired their coach and his wife got on Twitter asking how they were supposed to be competitive with a $35,000 NIL budget? $35,000.
I did not see that.
I did not see that either. That's insane. That's it?
I mean, that won't buy you anybody.
No.
You couldn't get me to come play for UMass for $35,000.
You could get me. I'll take it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I know the money going around. I can get 50 from, Florida Atlantic. I don't know.
You strike me
Marshall.
as an owl.
Yeah.
You strike me as an owl. I like it.
Why?
It's the glasses. It's just the fact you're wearing glasses. We got to take a timeout. We'll be right back here on Outside the Box Score. For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score. The Myers Creek commercial wasn't playing on the stream. Yeah. Or actually, no, it would have been. I think. Yeah.
We don't support him.
I don't know.
That's a separate sponsorship.
Yeah.
For the Twitch.
Yes, Pat. All he said was Mark.
Dad said. My dad said they heard it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kyle McCord over 287 today.
Well, Pat, I will save the answer to that question for when we come back from break. Yeah, where we're drinking this week.
Excellent.
So I know where.
On Wednesday?
No, he comes home on Monday.
Okay.
So
Marky, I'm finding lines for Kyle McCord passing yards today.
oh really? What's the number?
Well, you can get it at basically the minus 110, minus what is 297.
Going to Swallows Thanksgiving morning? I don't know if I'll be able to swing that. I got to figure out. I might stop, because we're doing Thanksgiving at my house this year. We're not going over to my aunt and uncle's.
Reg?
Yeah.
What happened to Reg?
Well, Reg is still having Thanksgiving. But we just don't want to go.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm going to stop over there for dessert after.
Excellent. You have a couple turkey.
Yeah.
A little mashed potato. What's your favorite side dish here, Marky?
My hot take is I think the Thanksgiving meal is very overrated.
I don't hate that.
I'm not a big Thanksgiving dinner guy. Never have been.
Excluding the potatoes, though, because that's got to be the favorite for everyone in my mind.
I mean, I like stuffing.
Okay.
I enjoy stuffing.
Okay. That's good.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. During the break, my good buddy Pat,
Yep.
Who's going to be in town starting on Monday, asked where we're going to hang out this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I would wait until we came back from break to let him know that the only place that I would want to bring Pat to is our good friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company.
How could you not?
And
They've got everything.
Pat's been to the Inner Harbor, but he hasn't been to the Palace.
Oof.
And I know I'll take a look, but the Palace always has, in Casanova, always has some great events going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be no different.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have stuff around Thanksgiving, the holiday, Black Friday maybe.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be all sorts of events going on in Myers Creek. Pat says he needs to go to the Palace. He needs to go to the Palace. He said need in all capital letters. That's how much he wants to go to the Palace. This beautiful location in Casanova.
Oh, yeah.
The fire pits outside. You know, it's getting a little chilly right now.
Sure.
Maybe it's a nice night. You can still, throw on a nice jacket, sit outside at Myers Creek, enjoy a velvet fog, maybe a Dolphy Day, maybe a dart, maybe a Hell's Lager, which I was drinking on Wednesday. This is a wonderful, just regular lager that they provide now.
My favorite part about the Palace is, Mark, you can make it your own little pub crawl. You start upstairs. Maybe that's not your vibe. You have a couple drinks up there. You move down.
Yeah.
And you go downstairs, the other bar. They've got 3 bars at that one spot. I mean, you do all 3.
During the summer, they've got the shed. They've got a shed out in the back. That's just another bar. It's an incredible location with delicious beer, fantastic food. They've got the mac and cheese back. I love the Myers Creek mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I've been eating that. Delicious. Incredible. Maybe the best mac and cheese in town. I'm just throwing it out there.
Could be.
So, Pat, to answer your question, we're going to be going to Myers Creek Brewing Company. If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company with 16 brews on tap at both the Casanova and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must-try. More of a traditional Pilsner? How about the Floatin' on By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with the official beer of Outside the Box Score, Myers Creek. They're saying rolls are underrated. Rolls, love a good roll. Good dinner roll.
I really wanted to. I am just full with recipes on the TikTok. That is my main source of TikTok algorithm. It's just all recipes. And this one woman made a tremendous roll with a cinnamon butter, basically doing a little mock Texas
Yeah,
Hold'em.
sure.
I just don't have the time to make the roll. So I'll just go buy the King's Hawaiian. The King's Hawaiian, you can't go wrong.
That's all you need. I'm not saying you need to, knead the dough and, make the roll from scratch, but I love a grand
Sure.
Pillsbury Grand, a
Sure.
crescent roll. Not a crescent roll guy?
Nah, not as much.
I like crescent roll.
It's too flaky.
Yeah, I like the flaky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, too, you need warm butter.
Oh,
Warm butter or sit-out butter. You serve the cold butter, I'm going to spit on you. Yeah, just I can't slap you.
What did you
I
spit
don't know.
on?
It's really.
That's the second time you've mentioned it on air. You
I
mentioned
really
it
want to
before.
spit on somebody more. I don't know. Just feeling extra disgraceful today. I don't know. I'm thankful for my ability to spit on people who disrespect me by serving me cold butter with my rolls. No, you need nice butter, and the cinnamon butter I wasn't gonna do anyways because it's just keep it classic. Just give me butter, copious amounts of butter though. Butter both sides of your roll. Don't put the one little stick in there and think that that's enough for your roll. Butter both sides. Treat yourself this Thanksgiving and butter both sides of your roll.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Wrapping up another fun-filled hour here on the Score 1260. Josh, any final thoughts on the show today?
I think it's a time of giving this year, Mark. We're coming out of the holiday season. It's my favorite time of year. For about 2 months out of the year, you can just feel like maybe we are doing something here, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the world isn't a complete crap hole. Maybe there's something to be happy about. And so this holiday season, remind yourself, be thankful for something. You know, we have a great friendship here, Mark. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful I get to come on the radio every week with you when I'm here and people aren't dying and brunch isn't canceled, you know? So when I get to show up, I'm thankful for that opportunity, and I'm thankful I get to be around. So
Well,
nice.
I'm thankful for you coming on this show as well, Josh. I'm glad I'm not here just talking into the void. You know, I'm thankful for everyone that we have in chat.
Thankful for Jim.
I'm thankful for Jim. I'm thankful for Pat Stone. Mitty wasn't here today. He's a fraud.
Mitty, I'm thankful for Mitty. He's been a great new addition.
Mitty has been a great new addition. Love talking to Mitty. Thankful for Mara was in there earlier. She commented on my Mountain Dew, my good friend Mara. And Jim says Brian Thomas, 6 to 8 p.m. Wednesday night at Myers Creek, per their website.
The wide receiver from Jacksonville?
Yeah, I think so.
Who's Are you Brian Thomas, Jim? I just said I'm thankful for you, and now I'm going to spit on you. I'm going to spit on Brian Thomas.
Stop it. Stop it. No more spitting. We're trying to be nice here. We're trying to be kind. It's the last show before Thanksgiving.
You brought up this guy, Brian Thomas. Who is Brian Thomas?
I'm a musician.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll check him out.
Live music. They do live music at Myers Creek.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm thankful for live music.
Yeah, and they've got Black Friday deals, too. I'm thankful.
At Myers Creek?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
On 4-packs.
Oh.
I'm thankful for our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company for being such a loyal sponsor for this show.
That's true.
I saw their director of operations, Jordan Pollock, last night. He came up and we talked. Always great to see Jordan, good friend of mine, and had a wonderful evening.
I'd like to think we've got an unlimited bankroll from them. They'd sponsor us to do anything.
Oh, yeah. They love us, and we love them. They've been a very loyal sponsor. I love their product. I'm very thankful to them for being a good part of this show. And like I said, I'm thankful for all of you listeners out there. I can't speak for Josh, but I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm sure you do as well.
Of course.
I thought you might say you're going to spit on them.
No. Remember who your real family is, and be okay with maybe cutting a couple people out of your life. Okay. Family is great when they accept you and want you. And if they don't, let them die. That's what the holiday season's all about. It's forgetting family that doesn't accept you. Get rid of them.
You know what? It's actually not bad advice. It's a little morbid. It's a little down, but it's actually not terrible.
Be around
advice.
the people that make you feel happy, and if they don't, let them die.
All right.
Not kill them.
No, of course not.
I'm not saying to kill somebody. I'm just saying to stop talking to them. Stop sending them a text every once in a while.
Yeah. Jim says you can pick your friends, but not your family. But yeah, you can choose not to hang out with that family.
You're damn right.
It's pretty simple.
My uncle knows who he is. No, I got a couple people out there.
I hope they're not listening to the show.
They wouldn't. And that's why they're dead to me.
And that's why, because they don't support you.
Yep.
And they don't support your ambitions.
That's right.
Well, I support your ambitions, Josh. And
I support you. I support you.
Oh, see, we should have just done the whole show like this. Just being nice and being complimentary to each other.
Syracuse football could win today. I'm thankful for them.
I'm thankful for them as well. I'm thankful for all of you. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel, 11 a.m. on the Score 1260. Have a wonderful holiday. Peace.